Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a zombie horror film, Survival of the Dead. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, the Sergeant of the National Guard is narrating the current zombie situation. He says that the dead are coming back to life as zombies. The zombies can be easily killed by shooting them in the head. But the Sergeant says zombies are difficult to kill when they are your loved ones. The zombies now also infect some of the soldiers, forcing them to kill their infected colleagues. The Sergeant orders an officer to shoot the infected soldier. As the officer hesitates to do it, the Sergeant immediately shoots the infected soldier to death. In order for them to survive the zombie outbreak, the Sergeant and his friends, including Francisco and Tomboy, leave their assigned military base. They wander in the streets and rob whoever they encounter along the way. The characters from the film Diary of the Dead pass by, and the Sergeant and his friends take everything from them. The scene then moves to the isolated island called Plum Island, where two big families are feuding with each other. The zombie outbreak reaches the Plum Island, where its residents are resurrecting as zombies after dying. Amidst the zombie outbreak on the island, the family led by Patrick is killing the zombies on the island together with his men, since he believes that the dead must stay dead. He figures out that the family led by his old enemy, Seamus, are hiding their zombie relatives, so he and his men knock at Seamus' home to hunt down their zombie relatives. They figure out that a kid from the Seamus family is infected upstairs, but the mother prevents them from going after the kid, so they instantly shoot the poor mother to death. Just then, Seamus arrives at the scene with his men to stop the killings. He tells Patrick that they must not kill their own kind. He believes the cure for the zombie infection will be available in the future. Since they are greatly outnumbered by the Seamus family, Patrick and his men have to surrender their guns. Seamus plans to execute them, since they are posing a threat to the Seamus family. But Patrick's daughter pleads to Seamus that they can just kick Patrick out of the island instead of killing him. Seamus then kicks out Patrick and his men from the island. Meanwhile, the Sergeant and his friends are staying in the woods. As they are wandering around the woods, they hear a group of men camping nearby. Sergeant then orders his friends to surround the camping area so they can rob the campers. They threaten the campers, forcing them to surrender their guns. As they inspect the area, they find zombie heads attached to sticks. It turns out that the camper did it to make fun of the zombies. The campers sneak to get their guns back and try to shoot against the Sergeant's group. In response, the Sergeant and his friends immediately open fire at them, which kills all of them. As the situation settles down, a nerdy boy hostage taken by the campers walks out of the scene. The nerdy boy notices that one of the campers is still alive. He then takes the gun out of the Sergeant's friend and shoots at the camper. After that, the Sergeant decides to take the nerdy boy with his group. They take the camper's armored truck and decide to use it as a mode of transportation. It turns out that the armored truck also contains a large amount of money. As they begin to drive, the Sergeant says they must go north. The nerdy boy then suggests they should go to a safe place. It turns out the nerdy boy finds a video of Patrick on the internet. There, Patrick tells the public that Plum Island is a safe place from the zombie infection. It turns out that Patrick intentionally invites strangers to go to the Plum Island. After watching the video of Patrick, the Sergeant says they drive south to head toward Plum Island. The Sergeant and his group eventually arrive at the South Dock, where Patrick and his men are supposed to be waiting. There, Patrick and his men are camping in a house. The area is surrounded by landmines and armed guards. Patrick takes notice of the Sergeant's presence and tells his men to get ready. He confronts the Sergeant's group. The Sergeant asks the price of the motorboat toward the Plum Island. Patrick insists that they must give all of their possession in exchange for the motorboat. The Sergeant refuses to give their possessions and the armored truck to Patrick's group. In exchange, Patrick's group opens fire at them in order to force them to give their possessions away. Patrick also warns the Sergeant that they cannot drive out of the dock since the exit is full of landmines. At this point, the Sergeant suggests their only way out is to drive toward the ferry. He tells them that one of them must swim to the ferry and drive the Tesla ferry to pick up their armored truck. Francisco then volunteers to swim toward the ferry to impress Tomboy with his waterproof muscles. While swimming on the ferry, Patrick's men keep shooting at him, and the zombies keep grabbing his smelly ass in the seawater. To cover Francisco, the Sergeant and the nerdy boy fire back at Patrick's group. Francisco keeps swimming while keeping away the zombies. He then bites the zombie's hand and swallows some of the zombie's diabetic blood, possibly wanting to infect the zombie with his own lethal disease. Fortunately, in that way, he soon manages to reach the ferry without being killed. As he walks onto the ferry, he tries his best to figure out how to operate the ferry. It's shown that Tomboy follows him on the ferry, so he manages to operate the ferry and drives it toward the dock to pick up the armored truck. Meanwhile, the sergeant needs to walk out of the armored truck to be in the driver's seat. As he walks out, Patrick's group opens fire at him. He then throws a grenade at their fortress house, exposing them to the zombies around. As Patrick's group is busy dealing with the zombies, the sergeant drives the armored truck to the ferry. Patrick's men are eaten by the zombies. Patrick bombs the zombies with dynamite and barely manages to jump on the moving ferry. Fortunately, Tomboy helps him out to land safely on the ferry. There, Patrick and the sergeant become friends with each other. They figure out that there are zombies roaming around the ferry, so they hunt down the remaining zombies on the ferry to keep themselves safe. They inspect every corner and find zombies in the cars parked on the ferry. They then shoot the zombies to death without human mercy. As the situation settles down, Patrick reveals to the sergeant that he was exiled from the island and that he never receives a fair salary on Plum Island, so he works alone by catching fish. After some time, they notice that they are near the Plum Island. Patrick says they cannot bring the large ferry to the island, and they must use smaller boats to land on the Plum Island without alerting anyone. He explains that they need to sail towards the island before daylight, since the Seamus family doesn't like strangers on the Plum Island. It turns out that he deliberately sent strangers to the Plum Island to annoy Seamus. He explains that he and Seamus have had disagreements ever since. They soon arrive in Patrick's land, only to find zombies in chains. He reveals to the sergeant that Seamus is refusing to kill their zombie relatives, so they just keep them in chains as pets. As they wander around, the Seamus family takes notice of them. They open fire at them, and the sergeant's group fires back. After a fast and furious fight, the sergeant's group manages to drive them away, but one of his men gets hit by a bullet, and he eventually dies. Patrick shoots the man again in the head, knowing that he will turn into a zombie. Patrick's other daughter, who's riding a Ferrari horse, passes by in front of them. He says that she is already dead, and she's a zombie now. He inspects his land and takes notice of the dead bodies in the water. It turns out that the dead bodies belong to the strangers sent by Patrick to the Plum Island. Apparently, the Seamus family shoots them to death because they do not want strangers coming to the island. Patrick then plans to kill Seamus. After hearing the story, the sergeant wants to join Patrick in his plans to kill Seamus. However, a cowboy overhears their plans, and he reports the situation to Seamus. Meanwhile, Seamus suggests that they must teach the zombies to eat other things to prevent them from biting living humans. He decides to use Patrick's zombie daughter as their experimental specimen. Meanwhile, the sergeant's group camps in an abandoned house on the farmland. Tomboy walks out of the house to search for Francisco. As she wanders around, she finds Francisco almost turning into a zombie after swallowing zombie blood earlier. Francisco bids goodbye to her, and she confesses her love to him. After that, she shoots him to death without giving him a free tongue massage, as he's already become a zombie. Just then, the cowboy kidnaps her sexy body and brings her to Seamus. There, Seamus eats with her and tells her that he only wants to keep his zombie relatives alive, believing that there will be a cure in the future. In the farmland, the cowboy also catches Patrick's zombie daughter. In the meantime, Patrick, the sergeant, and their group prepare to confront Seamus and his men. Patrick reports that Seamus might have already kidnapped Tomboy, but Patrick's daughter prevents him from attacking the Seamus family since she is against violence. However, Patrick is determined to confront Seamus, and nothing will prevent him from terminating his old enemy. As Patrick and the sergeant are about to attack the Seamus family, the sergeant instructs the nerdy boy to get out of the island. Patrick, the sergeant, and their group arrive at the bridge, where Seamus and his men await them. There, Seamus is holding Tomboy hostage and threatens the group to surrender their guns. Seamus then brings them into the farmland. There, he tells them that they are trying to feed zombies other things to eat. He says the zombies will refrain from biting humans if they manage to feed zombies other things. Seamus then tells Patrick that he needs to admit Seamus is right if his zombie daughter takes a bite of the animal. He then says they will be permitted to go after that, but Patrick bravely says they will not leave the island without killing Seamus. Just then, Patrick's daughter and the nerdy boy arrive at the scene, and they hand over guns to Patrick's group. The tension then rises as everyone now has a gun. The cowboy decides to join Patrick's group, so Seamus shoots him in his cow legs. Meanwhile, Patrick's daughter believes her zombie sister recognizes her, prompting her to go near her zombie sister. As she walks forward, her zombie sister bites her without zombie mercy. Patrick turns emotional as both of his daughters will be a zombie. He then blames Seamus for it and opens fire at his men. Seamus takes cover, and his men shoot back at Patrick's group. As chaos begins, the cowboy frees up the zombies. The zombies manage to walk out of the gate, and the cowboy leads them to attack Seamus and his men. But in return, the zombies also eat him and his smelly part, ending his cowboy life. While the zombies proceed to attack everyone in their way, Patrick's group continues to exchange fire with the group of Seamus. Patrick walks forward to confront Seamus, but his daughter calls his attention. He turns his back to talk with his daughter, and Seamus takes this chance to shoot him in the back. The daughter notices that her zombie sister is taking a bite of the Ferrari horse, proving that Seamus is right all along. Patrick stands up and shoots Seamus to death. After that, he also shoots his daughter to death, knowing that his daughter will eventually turn into a zombie. After the gunfight, every inhabitant of the island is now dead. The sergeant, the nerdy boy, and Tomboy are the only remaining people alive on the island. The sergeant thinks of the possibility of staying on the island, but in the end, they decide to leave the island and go back to the mainland to fight another day for their survival. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.